Everybody loves a winner, and tonight the Atlanta Dream set the record for the biggest crowd to watch a WNBA game in Georgia history.
The WNBA is heating up as the season hits its stride post-Olympics. Some teams are soaring, while others struggle to find their rhythm. Join us as we break down the biggest storylines questions and the key questions shaping the league right now.
An issue for the Aces. It has caused them and cost them some games. There's a little give, go, and the finish. That's not
with it on Gabby. And a step back from Ryan Howard.
So, the Dream upgraded their roster this season by trading for Jordan Canada and signing free agent Tina Charles. But so far, that hasn't translated into many wins. Canada missed the start of the season with an injury, and Atlanta is currently sitting at 10-21. They're being chased by hungry teams like the Mystics and Wings. The biggest problem for the Dream is on offense. They're scoring only 95.3 points per 100 possessions and shooting 45.0% from the field, both of which are the worst in the league. Hopefully, there's still time for the Dream to turn things around, especially now that Canada is back. In her past 3 games, she has averaged 17 assists. They could also use Ryan Howard, who has missed some games with an ankle injury. Atlanta is 6-7 when Howard has played, and 1-4 without her. While the Dream are struggling to find their rhythm, another team in the league is starting to figure things out, despite facing their own challenges. The Chicago Sky, with a mix of seasoned players and rising stars, has had a roller coaster season, losing a lot of close games. But unlike the Dream, the future looks bright for them, especially with Reese and Cardoso in the front court. It took a while for Cardoso to get started because of a shoulder injury and Elizabeth Williams getting hurt. Now, they're starting together and they're making a big impact. The Sky are now the best team in the league at scoring in the paint and the second best at grabbing offensive rebounds. They're also a very good defensive team. There's still a lot of room for them to improve, especially with their three-point shooting. But the rookies have helped the Sky find their identity. As the Sky begins to rise with their newfound identity, the Connecticut Sun, who started the season hot, winning 13 of their first 14 games, are now hitting a rough patch, losing 3 of their last 7.
Tina finds space. You better count it. Tina Charles. That's nasty. 20 ball. So the coaches meet at halftime and hug it out as
The Suns are known for their tough defense, but even before they started losing, the coach and players said they weren't playing great basketball, especially on offense. In fact, in about 4 of their losses this season, they've been held to 75 points or less and haven't shot well from the field. They're also the slowest team in the league and don't shoot many three-pointers. The Sun have been to the playoffs for the past 5 years, but they'll need to play better offense if they want to win a championship. Also, keep an eye on DeWanna Bonner's shooting. When she shoots well, the Sun are undefeated. But just as the Sun needs to reignite their offense, the Dallas Wings have been dealing with a setback of their own. Injuries to key players like Satu Sabally, Natasha Howard, and Maddie Siegrist have led to 16 losses, nearly as many as they suffered all of last season. 8 of those losses were by just a few points, and their net rating was also the worst in the league at the point. The Wings finished 4th last year, but making the playoffs this season will be a tough challenge. Although they've shown improvement since their key players returned, ESPN Analytics still gives them the 2nd worst odds of making the playoffs. Amidst the Wings' challenging season, the Aces are really turning things around, despite a lot of people saying that they were done this season.
Coming off an outstanding game, played for the Spanish Olympic team. They finished in 5th place. Asia Wilson, baseline. You will see.
When you look at this Aces team, because I know a lot of people are saying, oh, what's wrong with the Aces? I'm sure fatigue does play a part in that. 6 Olympians.
The Aces have now come back strong since Chelsea Gray returned from her injury. They were struggling on both offense and defense before she came back. But now that she's back, they've won more games. Kelsey Plum has called Gray the sugar in their cake. The Aces' offense is running better now that everyone is back in their normal positions. Gray is also helping them on defense. Before Gray came back, the Aces were ranked 10th in defensive rating. Now, they're ranked second. Their overall net rating is also the best in the league right now. The Aces are currently in 4th place, but don't let that fool you. They're a much better team than their record shows. They're going to be a tough team to beat in the playoffs, and they're going to be looking to make a deep run.
Signs on Breanna Stewart. Azure Stevens, 5th game back after an injury.
Sabrina, 4 of 6 from the floor. She's got 3 assists already today.
Meanwhile, the Sparks are rebuilding, so it wasn't expected for them to make the playoffs this year, but they've had some bright spots, especially with Brink and Ricky Jackson. Jackson is going to be on the all-rookie team, but unfortunately, Brink got hurt and is out for the season. Before she got hurt, she was a great rim protector and was showing a lot of promise on offense.
It's taken her a minute too to get kind of her legs under her, but I believe she's back the way she's played the last 2.
Now let's talk about another team that's been making waves this season, the Lynx. They've become one of the best teams in the league this season. They have the best defense in the league, and they're also shooting 3-pointers really well. They're also sharing the ball better than any other team in the league. If they keep playing like this, they could break the record for assists in a season. The Lynx have played a lot of games against good teams, and they've done really well. They've won 7 of 12 games against teams with a winning record.
This rebuild, that they can find some magic and do it again. The steal off the inbound, and Dojkic. Avery, a great addition for Stephanie White's crew. Great spin move.
But even with all their success, the Lynx might still be behind the most consistent super team of the season, the Liberty. The Liberty have been dominant in the league despite facing challenges in the beginning of the season, like Courtney Vandersloot's absence and a revamped bench focusing on defense. One of the underappreciated stars of their success has been Jonquil Jones. She's been a force on both ends of the court, averaging an impressive 16.5 points per game, a career-high 3.4 assists per game, and contributing significantly on the boards and defense. Her efficiency is off the charts, shooting at a blistering 58.7% from the field, including a remarkable 43.7% from 3-point range. Speaking of teams that have been experimenting with new styles of play, let's talk about the Mercury. Nate Tibbetts brought a new 3-point focused approach to the Mercury when she became their coach, and they've been doing that. Sometimes it works out really well, but other times they struggle. In one game against the Sun, they missed 26 out of 27 3-pointers.
Right away, Atlanta Dream digging in on Brittany Griner. That was a focal point in game 2, is trying to make Brittany more uncomfortable in the post.
Right away.
The Mercury's record hasn't lived up to expectations, partly due to the absence of key players like Brittany Griner and Rebecca Allen during the season. Griner is a standout player who fits perfectly into Tibbetts' system, excelling at scoring inside and dishing out to shooters. If the Mercury can tighten up their defense and hit their stride at the right time, they could become a formidable team. However, they'll have their work cut out of them, especially with the resurgence of the Seattle Storm. Last year was a rough one for the Storm, as they missed the playoffs for the first time in years. But this season, they've bounced back in a big way. Currently, sitting 4th in the league standings, they've shown significant improvements, thanks to the acquisition of big-name players like Nneka Ogwumike and Skylar Diggins-Smith. The Storm's defense has been stellar this year. They rank among the best in the league, excelling in steals and shot blocking. While the Storm have turned things around this season, not every team has had the same fortune.
Nneka stepping up and knocking down a 3, something that wasn't really part of their last game against Fort.
Already they've made a third of the threes they made.
The Mystics haven't had a great season so far, but they've actually played pretty well overall. Their net rating is better than most teams in the league. However, they haven't been very good in close games. They've played a lot of games that have been close at the end, but they haven't won many of them. Injuries have also played a role, as the Mystics have been without key players like Brittany Sykes, Shakira Austin, and Carly Samuelson this season. If they had been healthy, their performance might have been stronger. However, even before these injuries, this season was expected to be a rebuilding year for the Mystics after losing a lot of players last season. On the other hand, the Indiana Fever have faced a grueling schedule this season. playing against many top-tier teams. Despite their efforts, they've struggled to secure wins. One occasion was the game against the Connecticut Sun, where even their team's star player, Caitlin Clark, had a disappointing performance. She missed several shots, including an open 8-footer that went viral on social media. This was a rare misstep for the typically sharp-shooting Clark. Clark's overall performance fell short of her usual standards with only 10 points and a few assists. Her team was thoroughly outplayed by the Sun, losing by a significant margin. This loss was a setback for the Fever, who were hoping to improve their record. Clark's poor performance was especially disappointing, given her previous declaration that being snubbed from Team USA had motivated her. However, her actions on the court didn't reflect that determination. But despite that setback, Caitlin Clark has been a game changer for the Indiana Fever ever since the Olympics ended. She's been scoring points and dishing out assists like crazy. As the team has played together more, they've developed a stronger identity. Caitlin has been a great playmaker, and Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell have also been contributing a lot on offense. The Fever are currently 6th in the standings, and with the form they're on right now, they have got a very high chance of making the playoffs this year, which is good news for Fever fans. So which of these teams mentioned is your favorite? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're here, don't forget to like this video and hit that subscribe button for more insider buzz.